your representative, he said, like, choose your representative. I don't know my representative, yes, right? So I said, no, you know, so,
Minutes from the previous month. Chance to go over those, any questions? I'm fine, thank you.
oh, but you sent another one too.
I just posted the one he did.
Oh, okay, I couldn't remember.
License on
Any no questions?
Take that back.
Financial report?
Because they need for it over here.
I got several that I think it's, my only question is, why don't we use purchase orders? Purchase orders. Why does Bell Alderman not use purchase orders?
I don't know. If this board sees fit to, we'll
Can we talk about that tomorrow, Lisa? Okay.
talk about it this month.
Well, I wanna get Lisa's input.
Okay.
The state really said, well, I understand why the state pushes.
But, any questions about the financials?
Oh, I have one. It shows purchasing card, purchase with a check, $4,276. Is that on water fund?
The purchasing card is from Regions Bank.
Okay,
Credit card, more or less.
okay, but it just shows that, where does it show what was purchased? That's my question.
The person that purchases should bring back that documentation. to
Okay,
Lisa.
so they bring back a receipt.
Right, and at the end of the month, we transfer, like if this card is paid through water fund,
Uh-huh.
but if, like purchasing or when you went to Chattanooga,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we do a transfer at the end of the month to take that money and put it back into water fund under each, like park or,
Oh, like beautification brings you a receipt
yes.
when we get something.
Fire department.
Okay,
credit card
thank
related.
you.
Any other questions? Water sewer report?
For the month of February, everybody can tell by looking at your bill what the water did. We had a cold month, and then we ended up having a water main break over here, then putting a power pole in on top of that. So we did have one leak. Other than that, we did not have a leak through the whole thing. The speed signs back up out here at Liberty Pike. The no truck signs are up. And there's some verbiage that needs to go in the ordinance on sewer as far as, I really need to look up our ordinance on it, but for putting in the grinder pumps and such, we need to make sure they're putting in one kind, because we have to keep one on the shelf. So we need to make sure that they're doing it per our standards. So I will get that and get that written up, and next meeting, y'all can put that in the ordinance. Wastewater plant's doing good. We did real well through the winter, hard winter February. So that's all I have.
Just a quick question or comment. So the sign, I saw it back out there, it needs to be adjusted just a little bit. It's not bringing in the data when I look it up.
Oh, okay.
If you get up real close to it, it does come on, but I think it needs to be adjusted to the right.
Okay.
Like if you're looking at it, it needs to come this way a little bit to get further out from when the cars are coming in.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Also, when you were talking about verbiage for your ordinance, now will it be specific to Bell Buckle or the city, or however that works?
It's, it's to, bell buckle.
Okay.
Anybody in the bell buckle sewer system,
Okay.
wastewater system, yeah.
And David, can you start, if it's convenient, reporting what the data shows? Great, that'd be wonderful.
Nobody asked what a grinder pump is. I thought they would.
Mark, what's a grinder pump?
That's as easy as that one. It's like, for instance, Peach property out here, the James property, they cannot get sewer to the sewer line. They'll have to pump it up. We've got several out on, Cemetery Road, and so what we wanna do is we wanna make sure that when they put it in, and the property that just sold out here, the last piece of property in the city, they're gonna have to pump it up as well.
By the Hunt House?
Mhm.
Okay.
So we wanna make sure that they're going by our standards, because we have to have one on the shelf, and we don't want 20 on the shelf.
And who pays for the pump?
They do,
Okay, thank you.
the homeowner do. We just have to keep one on the shelf. If it goes bad, we swap it out. They pay for it, and then we get that one. You can repair them, but you gotta have it. You can't have it out of service for very long. Even though that they have the septic tank and the pump, we're still liable if it overflows or anything like that under our permit, so.
Fire and police report?
No police report. Total calls 15 for the month, 5 medical, 10 fire. We had standby for 1 and 6 2 times. We had a motor vehicle accident. We had a mutual aid for a structure fire in Normandy. We had a report of smoke on top of the school out here at Cascade, which ended up being just a HVAC system, which was good. We had 2 other false alarms at the middle school. We had 2 trainings for the month.
Questions? Planning commission report.
Okay, I have two major things that changed in that particular meeting. The first is the Allison property that's, like, referred to it as the James property, which is out 269 and Lynn Lane. They have put in a request for a plat approval, to make that, instead of just one lot, into 2 lots. They had everything in order for that, and that was passed by planning, and I believe that's maybe on the agenda for later. Is it not? Or does it even have to come back to BOMA after we've approved it at that level? You don't think I do? We do, or, okay. So anyhow, that was approved by planning, so I assume that moves forward. And then the other thing, I'm gonna give the board each one of these papers. This is on the agenda positively. And it's concerning the Senate bill that has to do with, amending. Everybody have that? Okay. It has to do with the zoning ordinance to clarify the authority for special exemptions, and that is on the agenda, so I'm just gonna kind of briefly go over what I have here, and then that'll be talked about later. So there's a Senate Bill 1313 that requires special exemptions are handled as administrative decisions rather than judicial determinations that need to be reviewed by a Board of Zoning Appeals. Under this rule, a government assigns the building official or zoning administrator as the official responsible for evaluating and approving special exemption results as long as the ordinance clearly authorizes the role and sets very objective, criteria. So, this is not in this, but the BZA has 3 different tasks. That's a special board, Board of Zone, Appeals, that's the word, yeah, appeals. So this is a question of whether it needs to be changed from what has been recommended by our planner, our town planner. But the purpose of the Senate Bill 1313 is to better align special exemptions with their original intent in zoning practice. A special exemption is a use that the legislative body has already deemed potentially appropriate with the zoning district, providing that clarity that defined standards are met. Since the policy decision has already been made through the adoption of the zoning ordinance, reviewing a special exemption is primary and administrative process for verifying compliance with these standards rather than a discretionary or policy-making action. Assigning special exemption review to the building official makes this process more predictable, efficient, and defensible. The building official applies the ordinance criteria in a straightforward manner, relying on the adopted standards, technical review, and staff analysis instead of public opinion or subjective judgments. This method reduces the chance of inconsistent results, avoids unnecessary judicial hearings, and helps ensure that similarity situations, applicants are treated fairly. The Zoning Board of Appeals plays a more clearly defined role under Senate Bill 1313. Instead of being the first decision maker for exemptions, whereas previously or at the moment, the BZA acts as an appeal body for reviewing decisions made by the building official. When an applicant or harmed party claims that their error is interpreting or applying the zone rules. This maintains fair procedure and keeps a clear divide between administrative enforcement and appellate review. This amendment will be the first for what likely will be a series of amendments by the zoning ordinance related to the state action. The town planner will need to bring forward and clean up ordinance specifically on how special exemptions are handled for BOMA's consideration.
Okay. If it's all right, I'll go next.
With what? Well, this is just a report.
Well, I was told to present the problem we have with the BZA meeting right after the planning commission report.
Okay.
Okay. I want to apologize to the residents of Bell Buckle. I conducted an illegal and unethical Board of Zoning Appeals meeting the other day. The reason is the members, according to our ordinances, the members of the Board of Zoning Appeals must be nominated by the mayor and voted on by the Board of Alderman. They can't just be, and we have to each have training every year. To my knowledge, I've never had any BZA training. I suspect the two gentlemen who came did not. I know none of us has been voted on by the Board of Mayor and Alderman.
And that's partially my fault. I'm giving some bad information.
Well,
And I thought I appointed it person, and that was it.
And it's-
Instead of this board approving that person.
and it's my fault because I didn't read deeply enough into the guideline, into our ordinances for the Board of Zoning Appeals, but whatever. I spoke to MTAS, which is the advisory group for municipalities in Tennessee. His recommendation was, and I agree with that, is that the meeting be null and void didn't happen legally, and a Board of Zoning Appeals has to be recommended and elected by, the Board of Aldermen. And, we have to, I suggest I not be on the Board of Zoning Appeals. I suggest it would be a totally new group. One problem I see with the BZA is our ordinance say we only have 3 people on it. We're in a town that everybody knows everything about everything. I would strongly suggest that we revise that ordinance, and you can have either 3, 5, or 9 according to state law. So I would strongly recommend that when, the Board of Aldermen pursue a new Board of Zoning Appeals, that it be made of at least 5 people. I think you get a much cleaner, view of the subject and less chance of, favoritism. Because we all know everything about everybody. So that's my recommendation, based on my conversation with MTAS. I finally said, John, it's John Waldron. I said, John, after we went through all the verbiage and everything, I said, if you were the mayor, what would you do? And that's when he said, I'd call the meeting null and void. Didn't happen legally. Start over with a legally chosen Board of Zoning Appeals.
Did I say something else too, or? Everything, I agree with everything, that sounds good. The only other thing at hand is that there is also, which is on the agenda, for this to be changed, and that has to do with this Senate Bill 1313. And I'll try to say it the best way I can. The change that from what I understand is that, a person will be in charge of hearing these appeals to begin with. Someone in our town that there's lots of criteria for this particular person. And then if that person makes a decision, then if they approve it, then it moves forward. If they deny it, then it can go to the BZA board. So that's how the Senate bill that I'm seeing is requesting that we make these changes.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I tried to make it clear to Ms. Harrington that she's putting the cart before the horse. We have an amendment, and I've been on MTAS, been on the phone with MTAS a lot, that was passed in 2025 and went into effect immediately. And that clarifies delegating an individual to have jurisdiction. So you have to do that first, because that's a may. The town doesn't have to. The town may delegate jurisdiction to a specific person, but there's a lot of work that has to go into it. This cannot be, this is irrelevant until this position is decided. And I'll be glad to wait until the ordinance comes up to explain why.
Is Senate Bill 1313 passed? Has it been enacted? It's now part of PCA. It's not still pending before the legislature. That's what you're talking about, they passed in 2020.
No, I'm talking about an amendment that establishes the administrator who is mentioned in this. So the amendment was enacted in 2025 that explained how a town may go about having an administrator, or whatever they want to call it, who then, once the town chooses to do that and follows the steps required, to do that. Then the town can pass this. And I'm not sure that even this is necessary. Anyway, I'll be glad to,
That's sort of step one, we need to appoint an administrator.
if desired.
Would that be a salary position?
If somebody that would already be in a salary position, it would be added. The person proposed was already employed in the town and would be a salary position.
Okay.
It would just be added to their,
Duties and responsibilities.
If the town, if,
if the town approves that.
do you want me to go ahead and just address the part, the horse, whatever, that has to come first? Or no, or wait till the ordinance
It's
comes?
under new business.
Okay,
We'll do it then.
okey dokey.
That, clarify administrative authority for special exceptions in compliance with this. So, we'll do it right now.
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce report.
The only thing that we really have to report right now is, the quilt, which has been put on yet another hold, because, when it came back from the engineer that they wanted it to be 6, not 4 inches of concrete, that of course changed the bid, we had to go back to the drawing board with that. That's costing us an extra $2,700, yes. But then we had weather to contend with, and now the forecast for the next 10 days is showing the potential of snow. So it'll happen when it happens, I guess, at this point. I don't really, that's really the only big thing that we've got going. Sorry about the snow report.
It always snows on the daffodils.
That's it.
That's enough.
That's all.
Parks and Rec committee?
We are planning to have post the Easter egg hunt on April 4th, which is the Saturday before Easter. That's correct. So we'll have things ready for that. We hope to have our water back on by then. We don't get a foot of snow or anything. We usually turn it on right around about the 1st of April, depending on the weather forecast. But I wouldn't think it's going to be that cold. So hopefully we get the water to the restrooms turned back on. Next, or weekend after next, is Daffodil Arbor Day. We will be doing our tree seedling giveaways at down right here in front of the city hall. So come down and get a free seedling. What are the three that we're giving away this year? 2. Shagbark hickory and Eastern pine. Okay. And I also just wanted to mention that the Bedford County Jail has a tree program that's run partially by the inmates there, and they're donating a number of trees to the park and to the city. It was Eastern pine.
Any questions?
If anybody wants ginkgo seeds, Carrie French donated lots. So if you'd like to plant a ginkgo tree. That's right.
Historical committee report?
I don't have anything specific to report on right now, other than, by the next meeting, I should have something further to report on the Alias when they're doing finishing the aesthetics on the back end of where the raised beds are going. But I'm waiting on that to tell me when they're doing it. Again, we're fighting weather again, so we'll see.
All right, thank you. Beautification committee.
We are working on the community garden. I'm gonna start it on Saturday at 10:30. If anybody'd like to come. It's going to be 20 foot wide, 10 foot long, and it's gonna be a U shape. It's gonna be made of Amish red cedar, rough cut red cedar. I put the rocks back on the pollinator garden and got that fixed and ready for spring, so we're in good shape there too. I knocked a couple of trees that were hanging. I call them widowmakers. I was asked to do that, and I knocked those down, and they are in the ditch there, but, that's been done. I cleaned out the water line in the creek for Mark, a couple weeks back, so we got that done. And also, there's an issue with the bridges around Bell Buckle holding debris in the creek. And I know that we've called them once.
Yeah.
We really need to stay on that, keep that water flowing. Yeah, that's about all the known information.
Awesome. Do you want volunteers Saturday, or do you want us to leave you alone?
Well, I brought it up because volunteers are okay.
Okay. 10:30 Saturday.
Yes.
And what are we gonna be doing?
Helping build the,
Like digging
no, there's no digging, it's gonna be above ground.
where's it located?
It's right next to the, convenience center.
Maybe before I like
Arts Council report. Friends of the historic Bell Buckle School.
We had a bank balance on February the 28th, $72,563.62. Next item that I'm gonna address, and I'm gonna hand it off to Katie. The TDEC grant that we asked for permission to apply for is off the table. We're not gonna follow through with that. South Central Tennessee Developmental District contacted me on the 19th of February with a recommendation that we apply for the Department of Health's Healthy Built Environment grant. Words they used were it's less cumbersome, the matches are less stringent, it's simpler to apply, and the intent to apply deadline is actually Friday the 13th, this Friday the 13th at 2 o'clock. There's two different parts of that. The first one had to do with convening, assessment, and planning. That planning has up to a $50,000 grant. The second part's infrastructure design and construction has an $80,000 max. Danny Coleman at South Central, and I talked about it, and he's contacted the Department of Health, and they believe we meet the criteria for the A part, the $50,000. And the goal is that we will apply for the $50,000. If we receive that by August, we'll put money with that and get the plans that we wanted last year done. So we know truly what costs are today. And then possibly move toward TDEC next year, already having the plans in hand. TDEC really wants shovel-ready projects. And so we believe we need to probably, while it's not something we want to do, delay, get the plans this way, and that's the intent. The town doesn't, to my knowledge, have to approve this because nonprofits are eligible to apply for this. But that's the plan at this point. And then we'll hand it off to Katie to address murder mystery.
I addressed it earlier, y'all probably, most of you are here, but our event is coming up, our murder mystery dinner theater, our second annual is coming up this coming Saturday. It was so popular last year that we added a matinee at 1 o'clock. The evening performance starts at 5:30. For both performances, we're having a fried chicken dinner that's going to have fried chicken with all the fixings, plus a baked potato bar, and also Heather's going to put barbecue on our buffet, so it's going to be a really good meal. For the actors and have been practicing since the 1st of January, y'all. Their heart is in it. They volunteered all of their time to do this fundraiser for the Friends of the Historic School. So we appreciate your support. And also, one of the things that is so good about this is, like the shopkeepers, every shopkeeper, every store here in Valbonville has donated something from the summer auction. Plus, we also have an $800 quilt from Lana at Hinkle Hill. We have Learn How to Ride a Motorcycle from Bumpus Harley Davidson in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We have Learn How to Fly an Airplane from Hawkins Aviation at the Shelbyville Airport. Anybody that hears of what we're doing and trying to turn our beloved old school into community center is on board for it. We also have a $500 gift certificate from Murfreesboro Chiropractic that includes all the initial physical exams that you have to have before you can even get a first adjustment from a chiropractor. We have $100 worth of gift certificates from Carrabba's and the Bonefish Restaurant in Murfreesboro, and many, many, many more. Emmy's Restaurant just gave us an enormous gift basket tonight for our silent auction. So if you hadn't already got your tickets, please come. We have room for 150 people, and we have sold 116 so far. 116 so far. So please, we need 34 more warm bodies. So please come. Thank you very much.
Any questions after that?
Can I speak
Thank
to
you,
that?
Robert, very well.
Can I speak to that? That's, the 34 is to fill up the nighttime session. If you can't come the nighttime, the matinee still has plenty of seats.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
I have no more mayoral updates. There is no old business. The next order of business is new business, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance to clarify administrative authority for special exceptions in the times for TCA and Public Chapter 509, first reading, and entitled only. And then we have to have a hearing and the second reading. So, any questions about that?
Can I address it now?
Yep.
137109, does not, which was passed in 24, does not go into what the administrative position is. So they passed an amendment in 2025 that went into effect immediately that clarifies what the administrator does. I guess, people kind of said, what? So, and the amendment states that a local, and it's section 18 of the amendment, 207. Yeah, 137207. And it amended Tennessee Code annotated by adding a section that explains the administrator's position. A local government may, by ordinance, delegate the initial jurisdiction over special exceptions or for interpreting the city map or decisions upon questions. Now, when that's done, however, an ordinance is this delegation ordinance, and it must be a delegation ordinance, which means a new ordinance, must specify which special exceptions have been delegated to an administrator, commission, whatever the position is called. So it's not just saying, poof, we now have an administrator. We have to have a delegation ordinance. It must specify specific and objective standards by which these special exceptions are evaluated. So, it's not just poof, we now have an administrator or commissioner or whatever, we decide to, name it. So, this was passed in 2024. Then they passed a clarification amendment, as I said, in 2025, and it's section 18. I've got copies if anybody would like to see it. Now, I had a lot of questions because I'm not really good at reading legalese. So I got on the phone with MTAS, and that's where I got the guidance that said, we must pass a new specific ordinance related to the responsibilities of the administrator, commissioner, if the Board of Aldermen choose to establish that position, and we must define the responsibilities. So I even said, how specific do we have to be? He said, you have to be very specific. So, he said, it says, the delegation ordinance must specify which special exceptions have been delegated to the local commissioner administrator. And he said, that means you must spell out responsibilities delegated. So it's not, like I said, just poof. It must include specific and objective standards by which the exception is evaluated. So again, it must spell out very specifically, and it's designed to protect both the town and the administrator, because the administrator wants to know exactly what are the parameters under which I operate. And then this is the BZA, and after that. So as I said, this is putting the cart before the horse. Then TCA 137109, where this came from, defines the BZA responsibilities. So that's the reason I say we can't pass that, because we haven't created a position or defined what the parameters of it are.
So we can't pass it in title only tonight.
No, you don't have an administrator.
That's what this does
No, it
on first
doesn't.
reading.
No, it does not. It does not do that. It defines how it operates, how the Board of Zoning Appeals operates with an administrator, but it does not find the administrator position. It does not create an ordinance that creates an administrator. But we don't have.
Can you draft such an ordinance, or can you have drafted such an ordinance?
I haven't, no.
And it sounds a fairly complicated procedure. Everything that you suggested.
It does to me, yes. And when I spoke to MTAS and would say, well, how specific? And he said you have to have a new ordinance that creates the position and defines the parameters of that position. And what even the town does, if the town wants an administrator, the town does not have to have the administrator deal with every special exception. It's up to the town, whether or not the town wants to do that. And if, for instance, somebody asks for a special exception, I don't know what's a special exception. Oh, bed and breakfast. If somebody asks for a special exception for bed and breakfast, and the administrator, that is responsibility is turned over to the administrator in our zoning ordinances must be the criteria under which the administrator decides to approve or not approve.
So we gotta create a whole new thing.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah, a description of what it's,
And
That sounds like an awful lot of power for one person in this town. This is a really small town. My understanding from what you said is if the town could choose not to appoint an administrator, but to appoint a 5-member board of zoning appeals that would make those decisions. Am I correct? Am I
That's-
hearing that right?
yes, it says a local government may delegate initial jurisdiction over special exceptions, or for interpretation of the map, which is basically city limits, or decisions upon other special questions that the board authorizes. So it's, what I suspect is since 13, Senate Bill 1313 came under 209. I suspect 209 was in existence, and somebody said, that's kind of vague. And so, in 2025, they made it effective immediately, they added amendment, 1372, they amended 137207 by adding section 18. And that's to what I just referred.
Can I read what it says in 1313? It says, is a recently passed law that modifies land development, creating a vested property right upon the submission of a development plan or building permit, rather than requiring final approval. It establishes a 3-year vesting period for building permits.
Yeah, that's a different section of it.
That's a generalization of it.
Yeah, but
That's-
just section
that's
18
specific.
deals with the administrative position. Yeah.
But she's correct, it did say May.
Yeah, I personally would feel a whole lot better about having a 5-member board making those decisions than one person.
Yeah, I think so too.
It appoints the building administrator to make, put first eyes on these things, but, and it knocks the board of zoning appeal down to an appellate group. If people are not satisfied with the administrator's ruling, it goes to the board of zoning appeals, and then if it's not settled there, it goes to Chancery Court.
No, but my understanding is the administrator would have the power to move something forward
Well,
if he so chose.
again,
Yes?
under section 18, everything must be spelled out in the ordinance for the authority of the administrator. You don't just say, okay, poof, it's all. And I spoke to John multiple times on this, took lots of notes, because I wanted to be sure I understood that, and he said, yes, that means it must be spelled out. It's not just we appoint an administrator and go forth and commit no sin. It's, as he said, this is section 3 of Amendment 18, under 137007, I believe. And then it says, the ordinance must include specific and objective standards by which the special exceptions are evaluated. And I said, can you explain that to me? He said, it must spell out in a revised or replaced ordinance the criteria for the administrator to approve or deny a special exception.
May I make a comment, please?
But again, the administrator would have the ability to approve it if he felt that event met the criteria. But if that's sort of subjective, because his opinion may not be the opinion of the town.
May I comment?
I think that just puts a whole lot of
That's been-
pressure
that's
on,
been
or
said
power
before.
in one person.
But
Yeah, I think
I
that's-
don't like it either. I don't like power.
yeah, I think you put 5 people on there and they'll work it all out.
And I think too, saying that's what he's saying is making their position where they have almost like a checklist, if you want to say. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
it's,
It's like, it has to meet this, it has to meet that, so in opinion, would not. And I agree with you, and I
Really
understand what you're
subjective,
saying as
yeah.
well.
May I make a comment, please? I think Tom will agree. I think anything done by the Tennessee General Assembly that involves potential enormous financial profit for certain people, I would urge caution in studying it, thinking about it. And I'm agreeing with Andy that would put a lot of financial power in one person. So anyway, I would urge the board to really be cautious and err on the side of conservatism.
I think that's what Ms. Betsy's bringing.
Well, what I'm saying is the amendment says, it's not like I know I'm repeating myself, but if we choose to have an administrator position or an individual with administrative authority, we must pass new specific ordinances defining very clearly, MTS even said, very specific responsibilities. So, we can't, that just says what the administrator, well, sort of, the administrator and then the BZA. This was an amendment after that. And I'm sure it came up simply because people said, what? So, that's it. So that's why I say I would be very opposed to doing anything. To me, it's not even relevant.
There'll be a vote, you can make a motion in favor of it, whatever.
Can I say something else?
Sir?
Can I say something else?
Yes.
So, everything that Betsy's saying is correct, and I agree that's a lot of responsibility for one person. I sure wouldn't want this job, but, it's being highly advised by our planner to do so. So I just wanted to,
Our
I don't know
planner
why.
is highly advising things that weren't so.
Our planner wrote an ordinance
Some girl that
that
comes from.
can't be passed yet.
Our planners in the past have not always done what's best for Belleville.
True. Amanda Harrington.
And how did she become a planner? Is that like a
We
state
hired
thing?
her, we pay her to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay.
But, I mean,
And how did she get the job? Anybody voted on it?
We hired the town.
The
Who
threshold
actually
proposition, we're
rewrite
saying
the
that we first
ordinance
need to have a
of the
board of zoning
specifications?
appeals in place. You're suggesting that 5 members and the mayor appoint.
well, that's
That's-
one thing that has to be
Well,
done.
shouldn't that be the first thing we do?
Find 5 members.
I was concerned that,
5 people.
the planning commission did not understand that, or board of aldermen were not clear on, the amount of work involved. And I have no feeling about administrator, not administrator. I'm just saying that if the town wants one, we have to pass certain ordinances.
Well, first we need to pass a board.
I think everybody agrees with that.
Yeah, which everybody agrees with. There's no step we can take. An ordinance available. Can we reenact with some versions, what is invalid now? Can we get the show under the road, anyway now, or does this all have to be put out for another month or so?
I don't know, Ronnie.
You guys can write it off, I mean, you got a lot of work to do.
Well, defining the board of zoning appeals,
Defining
well,
or creating.
well,
Create it first before.
we have the ordinances for that. We have the ordinance that covers the board of zoning appeals. And my only recommendation would be that instead of 3 members, you change the number in the ordinance to 5. And then the requirements are that it's, the mayor can appoint the, no, that's planning commission, I'm sorry. BCA members must be voted on. Mayor chooses them, but BCA decides.
BOMA decides.
Huh?
BOMA
No,
decides.
I'm sorry, BOMA.
They approve.
I'm
Okay,
back.
so then we should have if we have an existing ordinance, we could amend that ordinance to designate 5 members instead of 3, and
Yeah, that's
eliminate
reasonable.
any other problems. We could at least get that started, if not today, maybe by next meeting, or
You can just do a motion, you can make a
then we
motion
have
tonight
an
to
amendment.
amend.
You can amend the existing ordinance to get it in order. Okay? It'd be the first step.
I was looking, okay, this is, okay, now that was a question somebody had about planning commission. That was planning commission. Somebody had a question about the planning commission members rotate out, but
Who would actually write up the new ordinance on the specifics of what the legislature will do?
Without being amended.
Get together an amendment then and bring it before next meeting.
my only comment is, and I've only got 2 more years to go, and I'm getting too old to be pussyfooting around. Our planner, when I found errors in section 5 of the zoning ordinances, she sent to the Board of Aldermen 3 revisions that were incorrect. We finally put the wording in it. So I would urge her to look very carefully.
Are you still open to any comments at all, or do we need to wait?
I'm sorry,
Are
what?
you still open to any comments at all, or do we need to wait?
Let's close the public input.
I'll do it.
Let's get through the rest of this.
That's why I asked.
Have public input, then you have 3 minutes to talk,
Got it.
everything you're gonna say. We won't ease out of that when we're going to Craig Smith at the park master plan.
All right.
The park master plan, Mr. Craig Smith,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Get those here, so. And I've got a little handout I'm gonna hand out to the alderpersons.
Mr. Smith put in a lot of work on this, and it looks good.
You wouldn't mind just passing these around.
Oh, I love that. Is this what we have in the pretty notebook?
That is the actual master plan. This is just my little presentation on it.
Oh, okay.
So I want to thank you for allowing me to present the park master plan to the mayor and the alderpersons tonight. And so we prepared this over the last several months, the park board has. And we can pass those, if anybody else wants to look at those, I'll just pass the spares around. And the park board has approved the plan, but our goal tonight is to present it to the city so that you all can look at it and hopefully accept it as the plan going forward. So consider a master plan as like a road map to get where you want to go. And this tells us the vehicle that we have and where we want to get to. But to get somewhere, you also need a little bit of fuel too, and the fuel for us is funding. So this is a roadmap telling us where we want to go. We are also going to have to pursue other sources of funding necessarily to get everywhere that we want to go. But this at least tells us the direction that we want to point ourselves in. So the basis for the plan is the community survey and needs assessment that was done last year. Members of the board, Katie and Janie at the time, actually went out into the community and did a community survey. We got 135 respondents to, which for a town our size is quite a few respondents. Where they laid out what they thought was important for the park going forward. So that was conducted last year in I believe August is when it was mostly done.
Yes.
And based on that, we've developed a needs assessment. And the number one thing that people really like about the park and think is important is the walking trail. So 63% of the respondents said the walking trail was important to them. So that is going to be one of our goals, is to improve and extend our walking trail. 58% said that new and improved playground equipment was important to them. So we have a very nice little playground, but it can always be improved, and there's a lot of improvements we could do. Lighting was another heavily weighted element, and over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of work with lighting, especially around the front part of the park. But they were specifically talking about the back parts of the walking trail and things like that. That after the sun goes down, it's pretty dark back there. So those are things to think about. 36% said restroom facilities were important. Of course, we do have the restroom facilities, but during certain parts of the year, we have to shut them down because of winterization, freezing pipes, and things like that. And then during our large events, our overflow events, we also have to consider that we don't have enough restroom capacity, so we also have to think about that as well. 34% said shade structures over the playground equipment would be a great addition. And we agree, and we think that would be nice over the seating areas for the playground and over the playground itself. It's awfully hot out there in July. 30% said child-friendly playground surfaces. We have a mulch surface now, but there are modern surfaces that are much more forgiving for falls and things like that. We would also consider. 24% said skateboard and bike course would be nice, for the older kids and the teens and young adults. I think Shelbyville has one, and I think it's quite well used. 24% also said a water feature like a splash pad. I went to Owensboro, Kentucky a couple of years ago, and they have a park not much bigger than ours, and they have a beautiful little splash pad for kids to play on. Really neat. Of course, it is a lot more maintenance to it, and the construction cost and things like that, but it was really a very nice feature. Paved handicap parking areas, 24% said that, and of course, for ADA, the American Disabilities Act, very important that we consider paved parking areas. And then, of course, Bell Buckle being the art town that it is, 22% said art and educational installations. We do have some very nice art features out there already. If you haven't been out to the park, we've got some nice sculptures out there, but people would love to see some more of that, especially by local artists. So what we did is we took all these things that we would consider to be needs, and we broke them up into tiers, tier 1, 2, and 3. Tier 1 would be foundational improvements, things that we could get a lot of use out of right away, and a lot of people could use them right away. So tier 1, we broke out into walking trails. The walking trails are very important. The lighting on the walking trails, improvements to the playgrounds, and of course the restrooms. Making sure that we have enough to cover the seasonal and surge times as a park. Priority 2, we considered enhancements, basically, safety and comfort enhancements. These are things that maybe are not quite as important, but people still think that they would be great additions to the park. So the shade structures would fall under that. The playground surfacing falls under tier 2, and also the ADA parking improvements falls under that. And then tier 3 would be even looking out into the future. Some other enhancements that we would make would be like the skate and bike course out there, the splash pad, the expanded art installations too. So looking at the community survey and that needs assessment, the thing that became apparent was that the community thinks that safety and accessibility are probably the most important thing for a park, and that multi-generational amenities, things that not just the little kids can use, but the middle-aged folks and the grandparents out and walking the trail and things like that. That's a great return on investment too. And then, so things that serve that broad range of ages of people, very desirable for the park. And once the foundational things are done, then we can start to worry about the recreational expansion. Some of those things are like the skate and bike trail, or the skate and bike course that are just a little bit further down the road probably. So the survey shows that the community is really very practical. They're looking at health-focused improvements first and foremost, and then the enhanced amenities later. So I know, I'm sure all of you have been down at the park a lot, but just to, we, for a town our size, we have a lot of things down at the park. And just to make a quick list here, we've got the walking trail, we have the amphitheater, we have the pavilion, we've got our annual fireworks show, which draws a lot of people down to the park. We've got the Ward Anderson Playground and the sports recreational area there that has the basketball court and the pétanque court. The Poets Garden, which is just a neat little place with a bench where you can sit and reflect. You have the sculptures. We have the Ward Anderson Memorial Sculpture, the Lobster Mosaic, and the Daffodil Sculpture, and a certified arboretum, which is a pretty big deal for us because most towns our size do not have anything like that. And it's also an important part of our Tree City USA application that we do every year. So we're one of the smallest tree cities in Tennessee, and Arboretum plays a role in that too. The Willow House was installed last year. A couple of our board members spent a lot of time down there putting that up. It's a living willow structure where the kids can go in and play, use their imaginations. The community garden is going to be important. It's going to be a big deal. And that's, the beautification committee, very instrumental in that, but down at the park grounds. So that'll be something that we really look forward to. And of course, the historic Bell Buckle School. That's going to be the front piece of the park, and it will have, will bring a lot of additional visitors once it's up and running, and it's a community center. So overall, the recommendations are, based on the needs survey, to extend and resurface the walking trails. That would be great. We're going to need some financial help to do that. We do have some of our own resources, but we'll be looking for grant money as well as the school is too. Updating the playground equipment, installing more modern surfacing, adding additional restrooms during overflow events or times when the restrooms are closed because of seasonal issues, installing shade structures, expanding accessibility of ADA parking compliance, addition of recreational features, the skate bike area, the water feature, probably down the road a ways, integrating public art and educational elements, and we've developed a 5-year implementation strategy that's laid out in the plan that will lean on us applying for some grants and things like that too. So we also have, there's a lot of things that could be expanded down there. It's only limited by our imagination. So of course we've got the Arboretum, so we can do Arboretum and tree walk educational series, community garden, master gardener workshops. I see that happening. Outdoor nature-based environmental education along with the Arboretum. Once the historic Bell Buckle School is up and running, there'll be lectures there, art workshops, after-school programs, history and heritage presentations. And then, of course, there's the recreational wellness things that we could be doing down there. Walking clubs, people do it in malls all the time in big towns. Why not have walking clubs here where we walk around the park? Yoga, perhaps, Tai Chi, if we can find somebody who's interested in teaching that. And so, to wrap things up, we want to extend and enhance the walkways, modernize playground equipment, improve the ADA, parking, accessibility, add shade structures if we can, support art and cultural environments, expand programming, such as the things I just talked about, and also maintain our strong alliance with the Friends of the Historic Bell Buckle School in their effort to restore the school to a community center. And so you have a chance, you get a chance to look over the whole of the master plan. It also has some demographics in there, breakdowns based on the last census and things like that. So we would just submit this for the board today to evaluate and accept it as the official master plan for the park. Thank you.
I would move that we accept and approve the master plan as presented.
We gotta wait till we hold that thought there.
Okay.
I usually do that.
Any further questions of Mr. Smith?
It's amazing that survey results, and you get over 50%
Yes.
response.
Very good.
It's
Now,
remarkable.
we're up to opening mowing bids.
No pocket money.
That's a tough envelope. This is, TJ's Lawn Care. There's, customer signature, what all these have agreed to do. Total for 12-month contract, it's paid weekly, it'd be $1,285. The contract spread over 12 months, monthly payment will be $3,212.50. Total $38,550.no. Got an insurance certificate with it. Business license. That's a business license for county. You got that written down?
How much did you say a month?
12 monthly payments of $3,212.50.
So you're paying for the months and he's not mowing.
Oh, I know, yeah, I was just comparing it to what we're paying.
For a total of $38,550.
Huh, 38,550, okay.
For a total.
I just wanted to compare it. And does he specify the frequency of mowing or like that there?
I don't see that.
I know one year it was as needed, that the mower decided to be as needed.
You want to see it?
Yes, please. Everybody else may wanna see it too.
Oh, this is Mr. Bean. It lists all the work to be done for a total of $395 per cut. Is that correct?
And does it specify, did you specify how often you cut it or anything like that?
No, ma'am, I just, agreed to do exactly what that piece of paper that they sent out says. I think they normally do a 30 cut per year, but, it does not say anything about that there.
Oh, okay.
Normally the FAR can be 30.
You have insurance certificate and everything.
Yes. Yeah, it says it on there. It's
I
got-
saw that, it's the bottom. Huh?
Well, they can ask for that.
This bid is from Robert's Lawn Service.
Yeah.
This, proposal,
No, I didn't exactly what they asked. You know,
insurance certificate. Let's see here. This bill is 12 months at $933.33 per month. And April 1, 26 to March 31, 27. Total cost of $11,200. For these in the water, wastewater plant, treatment plant, the water tanks, pump station, lift station, fenced in area at AUT, and where we buy water from at 10 Peter Hill. And the total for that is $6,240, of 12 months at $520 per month. Look at that. Any comments on those, or?
I haven't seen them.
I wanna say, if, aren't you, you're local, correct? Shop local when you can. If he's pretty much in line with everybody else, shop local when you can.
Oh, okay.
Besides, if it's not done, you're
You see, that Roberts is broken down between all the water, anything has to do with water, and the others is right of ways and, over here, caboose and places like that.
Did
Oh,
yours include the water?
Okay. Was the water area a separate bid?
Then on Roberts it is, he broke it down,
But in the others, it's included?
it's included.
Okay, that was my question.
Well, Bob, how often would you do your, I see $3.95 per cut. But how often or does the town anticipating mowing needed? I think we need a big picture.
Of course, if it rains a lot, the grass is gonna grow and probably need it every week. It's dry, I mean, it's hard to tell. At least once a week during the growing season.
normally it's 32, 36 cuts. Normally it's when you bid on something, that's normally what you're bidding on.
36 cuts.
32 to 36. 36 is more like once a week.
Cuts.
The park board does 30 cuts. 32.
Okay, that answers my question.
Because in the summer, it's more like every other week.
And Roberts is not gone up this year and last year. Yeah. This year's the same as last.
Bless you.
see, your bid is, let's say 36, because you said sometimes it's. I like to feel compare apples.
Yeah.
This is what my bid is. 14,206. So, who's that?
Oh, okay, that's, and Bob, did yours is not for the water treatment plant area?
No, I do that too.
Okay,
It's all-
that's
It's all
included.
inclusive, yeah.
Okay, all
I
that's.
got numbers down the side of it. that-
Yeah, I saw that.
You can just read
He
it.
just didn't break it down separate.
Right.
Okay, that's right, that was,
His was 395 to 36, 14,220.
yeah, that's right. Oh, that's. So is that?
I've got another one in my purse. 520 plus the 933. You broke it out.
So you think they have to pay for 206,240?
This is for Roberts. So it's, I add those two issues. Yeah, his is,
We're not, unless they, unless I have legislation, I'm not aware of. We're not required.
I got rid of
Next on the new business, anything further on that, is Mr. Ben, BZA.
Me. Everybody kind of knows the situation I've been in. I'm involved in, you don't know. But everybody knows the situation I've been in with my, RV park down here in the floodplain. And I was walking through town and somebody said, well, why does he think that he can build something in a floodplain? And I wanted to say, I do this every day, I do this for a living. I'd like to explain myself to y'all. I'm not trying to be trouble with anybody. I just want to live in Bell Buckle and retire in Bell Buckle and have my business here in Bell Buckle. I don't want to drive to Nashville, Brentwood, and wherever I'm having to drive right now. So what I did is I brought some of my stuff that I have done this week or the last few months, and I wanted to show y'all what's my job. So this is the Holstead subdivision, Tiger Woods. It's off of Mona Road, if you know where that is, off Jefferson Pike. And one of the first things I want you to see on this is it says FEMA floodplain note. So that's right on the front, FEMA. Okay, so let's go forward. Okay, right here is all the stuff that you have to do. Mine is grading and draining. That's what I do. Site plans, demolition, all that's right here. General utilities, water lines. And then the next page, I want you to see what's right up front. What's the grade? The grade. Anybody see it? It's water. Water is on every page. It's what I do for a living. This is what I do. This project is underwater. This is in a floodplain. And I built this cul-de-sac. It's in a floodplain. And I had to get the negative flow to go from there over here to this farm pond. And I did that. This is a ditch with pipes, and then there's a drainage ditch from there to the farm pond. But every one of these, you can tell the most important part is water. This shows how I'm supposed to do my job. It's all laid out for this. That's what the blueprint is for. This one, is called the Boat Preserve in Nashville. They built this during COVID, and it went under twice. It's been bought a third time by another company, and they hired me. I hired two other people to get it to codes, and Ben Cataldo ended up hiring me to get it to codes. And what I had to do, as you can see, all of this is drainage. This is the detention pond. I had to bring that up to codes, and I had to plant over 300 plants and 55 trees to bring this up and get it to pass for Nashville inspection. But that's what I do for a living, all these plants. These are retention ponds, and I had to put in all the plants to get it back up to codes, and they did pass. I got one more.
I think you need to be bringing this to BZA.
You think so?
I can see from the drawings and everything, a lot of work went into it, and obviously, if you did the work and got paid, you did a good job. I mean, apparently. So, that's my thing.
So didn't the planning commission deny you the other night?
This one is the old school of Christianity that was knocked down. It was bought by Believers Faith Church. They're trying to get the funds together. But again, it's in a floodplain. All this is in a floodplain. And my job on this is to build the pad for the building right there, build the stormwater detention pond, and this has the same thing that y'all put in the alley. It's got the same thing in here. I have to do that too. So my point is, I never saw flooding as an issue. I never saw it because I deal with this every single day. This is what I do for a living. I never saw flooding, anybody dying down there. It never crossed my mind because I know what the law is, what it says, and what I can do. Everything I've done is by the book. Everything. And I would never do anything that would jeopardize somebody's life, ever. And I feel like I've been stuck in legal purgatory in the Planning Commission since July 10th of 2024. And I really feel like some of this stuff needs to come out. It needs to be addressed. Because the last meeting that you are avoiding, you knocked my head off. You know? I don't think it's right just to say, well, sorry about that. That meeting's voided, and you have to go right back down the rabbit hole. I've been there since July 10th of 2024. And I will say this, Andrew McCready and I met the day of the alley barbecue issue. He was the one that signed off on this, and he was the one I was talking to. And then that happened. And everybody knows what happened after that.
David, maybe you can answer this. Since his request was a special exception, why was it not just referred to BZA immediately? Do you know?
I don't know that answer completely, no.
Isn't that the process?
Yes.
And it went on, what, 2 years, you said?
Yes, and I just kept, every time I was asked to come back, they had issues, and every time I addressed the issues, I really tried to address the issues. One of them was, I said I wanted 15 to 20 camping spots. I said, that's way too many. I came back with 10, you know, but I never got to the planning commission the last time. I never made it through the BZA meeting. And really, I mean, I don't care what goes in out there, down there. I just want something down there that I can have a business on. Since then, I have shut down the Belleville Mercantile because of all this. My plan was to have the office where the Mercantile was. That was my plan. I was going to bring tourists in, and that was my plan from the beginning. But when everything hit the fan, I closed down the shop. My lease was up. Everything worked out perfect. But I would like to move the Mercantile down there to my property, number one. I would like to put on a building that I'm not going to build a building. It's going to come in on a trailer. It's going to be something on floats or logs. I'm going to address the situation. When I'm done with the whole thing, it'll look like a boardwalk. It's going to be beautiful. I want to put a copper roof on it, if I can afford it. I would really like to open the Mercantile down there right away.
The problem is that we can't have, we have a more mobile home ordinance that you can have mobile homes in Belleville.
And again, I'm sorry.
It falls under campground, and in Tennessee now, RVs can only remain in one spot for 2 weeks.
And who's gonna police that?
So that's
They got a pay job.
That's
Okay,
not
and
gonna-
so if they pull out and then come back in, they get another 2 weeks?
that is true.
You can put them in a different spot.
But so, let me say this, you know, people have said something about this being a trailer park and all that. I am not building a trailer park down there. What I'm trying to build is like Greg Heineke said, he sends his friends to Whispering Hills in Manchester. That's the person I'm looking for. I'm charging $100 a night to stay down there with only electricity. No sewer, no water. And the ones that I'm looking for are the people in the Prevosts, the $1 million rigs that have their own, they don't want to use a vacuum.
I don't think you could pull those things in and out of that driveway down there.
No, and it's not finished. The grade's not correct.
Yeah,
yet.
but where the driveway is,
Not finished.
but I'm assuming the driveway is where it would be,
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Okay, you're pulling out, people are coming over that hill, that's going, plus you got through,
Yeah, but the speed limit is 25.
huh?
The speed limit is 25,
Yeah,
and you've
well-
got a long way to see down that hill. I understand what you're
You
saying.
market all the time. What's the
Yeah.
difference?
Well, because it's a little further down, and it's
right
not,
next door.
it's not a big
This
road.
is BZA.
Come back to the BZA.
I don't wanna go back to the BZA business. I don't wanna go back to the planning commission. I am done with all this. I'm sick of sitting and getting nothing.
You have
I'm
to
willing-
go to the planning commission. I mean, that's just.
I'm willing to get FEMA involved. I'm willing to do what I gotta do.
Will you talk to Doug River about putting an electric on the ground in the
Yes.
floodplain?
Yes, I've
And
got
they
all
said
of
that
it
was
right here.
okay?
Yeah,
You
there's,
had that water guy come out from the park, remember?
yes, I've had T-Deck down there. I've
The
had
guy that,
Duck River down there.
Move right along.
Moving on.
Public input. Now you talk. You got 3 minutes. Who wants to talk first?
I do.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I want to ask Mark what the water loss was for last month, the percentage.
I don't have that.
Okay.
It did.
Okay, that's fine. I don't want my 3 minutes wasted. Thank you. Betsy, has MTS drawn up a job description and guidance with parameters? Can they do that?
MTS doesn't do that.
They don't
They
draw that
help,
up?
no, they help us to interpret laws that have passed.
Okay, so they don't draw that
And
up.
our ordinance.
They just give you marching orders. Okay.
Well, they interpret.
I think it's advisory, maybe?
Yes.
It's advisory.
They are an
Okay.
advisory
They have
board.
lawyers, CPA.
Back up the minutes. Next.
So, the flooding being the issue I'm talking about, Greg was able to build his that does flood with the tea room and all those buildings that had to be moved. I mean, just curious, how he got that issue versus over here not being an issue.
And that does flood.
It does.
I don't know.
I've got
if
over
it's
120
not in
loads
the
of
HUD.
dirt
I don't
over there,
think it's in
Greg.
the floodplain.
It is.
Flood.
It is in a floodplain.
It is in floodplain. I have the original deeds on there. It is
I've got
in
over
floodplain.
120 loads of dirt over the years with Greg. I've done a lot of work with Greg fixing that up.
I think,
I think you're doing a beautiful job over there. I think it looks
It
really
looks
pretty.
so much better than it used to. I like, can I speak?
Are you,
Oh, I'm done, go ahead. I was just curious.
Every year for the Web Craft Fair, people ask me, where can I park my motorhome? Every year, not just some years, 3 or 4 times every year. So there is a need here in Bell Buckle for motorhome spaces, or camper spaces. And I know that you don't want camping down there, you know, just he wants high-end rigs down there. But we actually need camping places here too. Every year we need that.
I think it's a good idea too, like she was saying, you know, RV comes into town, you can park down there, stay for a couple days, shop here, eat here. That 1.5% goes to the park, that money spent, it's just money being made for everybody. You know, why give it to somebody else? You know, some people, you don't have enough time, you know, you get there, you eat, and you think, oh no, the shops are closing, oh, we can catch them in the morning. No, it gives them a couple days to hang out. I think it's a great idea, personally.
And not only that, I do know that the Hideaway is closing. Hinkle Hill doesn't do B&Bs anymore, they only do events. So we're losing a lot of B&B rooms here in Bell Buckle. It'd be nice to have a place where visitors could stay.
And the landscaping already looks nice.
It could.
Can I say something? I'm not public, can I say something? Bob, it sounds like a lot of things have happened within the town, especially with the BZA and then having to go back and forth. But I feel like what you should do, and this is just my opinion, is give BZA another chance, or this building official that we're trying to figure out. We haven't had a lot of this come to our board or to anything in a long, long time. And I know you're really frustrated, but
I'm frustrated because I'm one of you. I sit at that chair right there, beautification committee, and that's the chair I used to sit at the park board for 4 years till we moved to. Now I sit across from Ronnie, and we sit there all eyes at each other. But
I guess
that's all I'm saying is that I would like the opportunity, same opportunity that everybody else has to have a business. I would like the same thing, and I don't feel like I'm getting it.
can I, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm hoping that you'll give the town, the boards, one more chance.
Say not to give up.
Can I say something? I think part of your frustration is that I don't know why you weren't told immediately at planning, this is a special exception, go before Board of Zoning Appeals. I think a lot of time was spent by you,
Spinning my wheels.
I was gonna say feeling like you were going in circles. Now that you know the path, I'm like David,
That's what
I would like, ask you to give whoever's on BCA, another chance. I mean, it may turn out the same way, I don't know.
Well, my issue I've got at this point is I'd like to get the Bell Buckle Mercantile open back up pretty quick. And that's changed since, I closed it down, obviously, I would really like to get it opened up quick. So if you're telling me I need to go to the planning commission and get that passed,
That's, I'm talking about,
The RV park.
yeah, the RV park is a special exception. Am I correct that the fact that you're in C2,
right,
that is commercial?
right.
So I don't see that you just get a building permit, don't you?
You have to go to, you have to go to the planning commission and get a building permit.
I just think you come to town and pay for a building permit.
Well, you don't just get one,
It's
you
like-
gotta
it's like
put your plans to the planning commission grants the building permit.
We
That's how it
don't do
works.
building permits.
Huh?
We do
Yeah.
site
Well, and
plan.
I'm not building
Site
anything.
planning. Site
Oh,
planning.
okay, I'm
Then you get to
sorry.
go to Shelbyville and get a building permit.
I'm not building.
He's not building anything, okay.
Huh?
The county does the building permit.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, just real quick, I don't want you, and you may be planning to cover this, but we also have the park mowing bid, so I just wanna make sure that we don't forget.
This part mowing bids, they got it presented.
Oh, nice. Is that on there? Oh, okay, mold it.
She's got a question here.
I just got a comment. Back to the 1313, and all due respect for what is suggested on there, because it is a suggestion and it's not a, you have to. And I've dealt with Amanda on a few things, and quite frankly, I don't see eye to eye with her either. But my thought on this is, I agree that it gives way too much power to one person. I think we should go back to doing the 5-person on the BZA planning. But why would you, as a board, until you figure out what town really wants with that, why would you put in all that energy and effort to make all of those plans for a person you may not even have? Shouldn't you decide ahead of time that that's what town wants before you actually do all of that legwork to give them a job that there may not even be a person to give it to? I really feel like your 5-person BZA is the end of it. I don't think any one person, and it's a very limited, very shallow pool of how many people get a paycheck in this town. So it's gonna be real quick. If it can't go outside of this, I think it's really, really giving an awful lot of power to somebody. Because even if you put the parameters on it, even if you build in this, like, this is what their job is. When you're saying commissioner, potentially commissioner,
Or
there's gonna be,
administrator, they just use both words.
on a government level, there's always extensions to what they can do and amendments to what they can do. And then later on, they're doing more things than what were in that original plan. So by the time you've amended it out by the next board, I think we've given way too much power.
Well, I think that's
You think
why,
it should be more in-house?
I think it should be
Figure this-
in-house.
Yeah, I'm kinda
I think
that.
5 people, never one person in a town this size.
I think that's why the amendment said may.
Correct, that's what I'm saying, since it says may, why make a decision to start all of the process that you just got through saying is gonna take a ton of time and energy to get this done? Why, if you've not decided yet that you're actually doing it?
I completely, 100% see your concerns and think the same way pretty much. I'm gonna ask Kirian, if you don't mind, can you elaborate on,
So,
since you're the chair of the planning commission?
Mr. Mayor, may I speak?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Kieran Cottrell, I'm Planning Commission Chair. Before I go into any of that, I wanna say that Bob Benz has went through every hoop that we've asked him to. A lot of the things that we asked him to were just clarifications from the flood issue with the floodplain, TDAC, from TDOT with cutting in. He made sure everything was correct. I knew this also was a work in progress for Bob. He said, he wasn't gonna go in and do it all at once, he was gonna do it when he could, and when he had the time, and when he had the extra allocation of cash. I would obviously like to thank him for his patience. This particular BZA, question that has come up for a special exemption is the first time in a long time this has ever happened to the planning commission. To the point that I had no clue we even had a BZA. Just straightforward. So when all of this was brought to me, got with the mayor, understood that we were going to have, there was some health issues with the planning commission. We couldn't get everybody here because there was some sickness in it. And I'm not making excuses, I'm just saying that's life in general, the way it works. I was unaware that the term may was in any of the literature.
Okay, let's back up a little bit. First off, why, if it was a special exception, was it not immediately sent to Board of Zoning?
I was unaware that it was a special exemption.
Okay, it's in the ordinance.
I understand that, and I was unaware, and I will call myself negligent on that.
And what was your other question?
I was unaware of the May that we did not have to appoint an administrator. That the way 1313, the way I read it, was that it stated that this was the way the state law was now.
I tried to point out to the planner that was 2024. The amendment was passed in 2025. Section 18 of 137207, whatever it is, which stipulates
The May.
the May,
Okay.
yes.
Again, I was unaware of that.
Well, somebody should have made you aware. I even asked if this was passed in 2025 and went into effect immediately, why are we just now hearing about it? And she said, well, you heard what I heard.
Well, I will say that the amount of information that a planner and or the Tennessee Code annotated throws at us is a lot to do. And as we are a little town, sometimes we get the trickle down effect of things. I'm not defending anybody and saying that there was a mistake. I'm saying that.
No, there was an error on her part. She did not notify that this amendment had gone into effect a year ago.
And I can say that we're all human and we all make mistakes.
Now, I'm sorry, that's been
She should have known that.
touted out so many times.
Yeah, she should have told you there was a Board of Zoning Appeals.
Yeah, it's just been touted out too often.
So, I understand that we all try to run the town as best as we can by the law. I understand that we all give our time.
We all have to run a plan.
We all give our time. We all do things to try to better the town in the letter of the law. I will be the first to say that the stuff that comes out of the state, there's a lot of it I don't understand. That I have to read 3 or 4 times and then I'm still in a quandary on what's going on. So I lean on Amanda to try to determine that. Now, I understand that you and several other folks have and I didn't mean to say you, Ms. Wheeler, have had disagreements in the past with her. I do not think anything has ever been done maliciously.
Maliciously has nothing to do with it. I finally became so frustrated when she kept sending me that document, and I kept pointing out that the amendment, and that's when I said, when did you know about it? Well, I told you, but the point is, there's nothing personal about this. If you pay someone, whether a contractor or an employee, they have stipulations as to their responsibilities.
Correct.
If they don't meet those responsibilities, then, as I said in an email I sent out, if it was an employee who worked under me, they went on, I can't even remember. Anyway, sort of, you have one more chance.
I'm not privy to the email. I may have not gotten the email if you see the CD on it.
I sent it to planning commission members too. And if they were a contractor, they'd be gone because you hire a contractor who does the job. It's as simple as that.
And I think that over the course of the years, I know that several things have, as a few other people have stated, that people haven't gotten along with what she said. I, again, don't think anything was maliciously.
No.
Now, hold on, please let me speak. But I do believe that she adds value to the town in what she does, because I don't think we can replace her for what she gets paid.
Do you know what she gets paid?
Actually, I don't. Because
$600.
is this public record before you say it?
Yeah,
Okay.
$675 per month,
Okay.
whether you need it or not. She is a.
That's not a lot considering that I can pick up the phone at any point in time and call.
But, well, that's immaterial, I mean, it will ultimately be someone else's decision whether she continues or is discontinued. My point, in fact, ultimately, she sent me an email and said, send me everything you sent to planning commission. And I refused.
Well, that's the correspondence between you and her.
Yeah. But I mean, someone does their
Ladies and
job.
gentlemen, I think we've argued this thing back and forth.
I think you're wrong.
Mr. Mayor, I give you back the floor.
Thank you very much.
We've been eating that horse long enough.
I didn't really get my full three.
2 words.
2 words. 2 words, that's it. I just, it's gonna have to be more than 2 words, but it will be quick. I just feel like we're talking about almost the same thing. It almost seems like with Amanda, and you may work well with Amanda, but we're also still talking about one person that seems to rule everything. Because no matter what you do, if you call down to the county, you get Amanda. Amanda seems to dictate everything that goes on all the time. And that's my fear for what's gonna go on here. And amendments, I wanna throw that out one more time. This town is famous for amending something. You can put down all the rules and regulations and what you can and cannot do. But that does not mean it cannot be amended, and that power cannot go faster, bigger, and harder on that one person. Just wanna throw that out.
And we have a problem in Bill Buckland not reading our minutes.
I'm making it into the record.
But I know, then nobody goes back and reads them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
I got 3 minutes. To answer your question, Mark, we are working with Communities Unlimited to get a true number, because all the numbers that we've been told years and years before me were not the correct numbers. They were skewed because of tank values. So we are trying to come up with that formula to get all that back in. And you're right, it is in a monthly report, but we haven't been able to get that yet.
It used to be we bought so many gallons, we sold so many gallons, we had this much loss.
Yeah, that's not a
And
true
it's a
number
little
because
helpful.
we have storage.
I would
You know.
say it was up last month due to the cold weather, and the meter's not capturing all the water. But they're supposed to capture down to 1/8 of a pint or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, any more public input?
I got one more thing I'd like to say, please. I have a business license from Bell Buckle right here. I'd like to know, is anything gonna stop me from buying a building that's not permanent? I'm not building on that structure. Is there anything that's gonna stop me from doing that?
Does your business license have an address?
It's gonna be personal.
Huh?
Yes.
But does it have an address for the business? When you got it, you
So
had to
form
fill out
out
a
of the
form
working
and
model,
said
yes.
where you're gonna be and how much,
Yes.
what you're gonna do?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes.
Say, to answer your question, I hesitate, but, probably need to do like I would, or Heather, or John, as far as citing something on your property. Have they go to this office and get a site plan
I've already done that.
for the building.
Yes, sir. I got it.
I've never seen it, but anyway, that's my thought.
Okay.
John, you got anything to say?
Well, there is,
You got 3 minutes?
I don't even need that long. A relative of mine is fascinated with the AI app called Claude, and he makes pictures of anything he wants. Would it be possible for you to produce a picture of what it would look like? Because I believe you when you say it would look lovely. But if you had that photograph,
Yes, sir.
that might give people a concrete idea.
Appreciate that.
Nothing further, we'll go back up to the mowing bids from the park. That all was,
Right, we received a number of bids, and the way we evaluate them is we do use a ranked scoring system based on 4 factors. And we met at 4 o'clock today, and each of the board members that were present did an individual ranking, a scoring of each submittal, and then those were totaled. And the highest total for submittal went to Van's Landscaping.
but don't he serve on the board for the park
I
board?
recuse
He's
myself.
recused. They still do it. You call him, task, he cannot bid on that property if he's a board member,
I can't.
because he cannot serve on the board of any board in town of Belleville and still hold a contract.
Well, you just said it's not on.
It's not on the board.
Okay, I mean, he just told me he was on the park board.
I was, but he said that, now I quit.
That's illegal, and I'll call him tax myself tomorrow and discuss that.
What's illegal?
I recused
But
myself.
he just recused himself because he was on the board and got a contract while he was on the board. Now he excused himself because he, so I'll contact him tax myself and then, thank you.
Thank you.
He's correct.